What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the all-new 2021 Volkswagen Atlas. All right, guys, now before we start the video, I just kind of wanted to say I'm thinking about everybody and sending out thoughts and prayers to everybody that's dealing with COVID-19. I know people are out of jobs, people are in the hospital, companies are going out of business, and I just want to say all of my thoughts and prayers to anyone and everyone or their family members that is dealing with this terrible virus. We're a local car company here in Louisville, Kentucky, so we've been affected as well. We've cut our sales force basically to nothing, and only our parts and service are open due to them being deemed essential businesses. So I have a lot of colleagues that aren't here at work. Either they work from home or they lost their jobs altogether, and it's just a really, really tough thing to be a part of. But I did want to say that I think we're going to get through this together. I think as a country, it's going to bring us closer together. And I'm looking forward to this whole self-isolation, quarantine, all kinds of stuff being in the past. And maybe if you're watching this video in 6 to 8 months, that's already happened and we're through it and we're, didn't lose too many more lives and we're better off for it. But, in the midst of it right now, it's hard to kind of see through the heaviness of it. So I just wanted to say thoughts and prayers from me and everyone here at Bachman Volkswagen to everybody that's involved with the virus. Let's get into the video. All right, if you guys are familiar with the channel at all, you'll know that when we get a new model like this, I like to just walk through everything that we find on the specific trim that I'm able to get my hands on. Now, since the 2021 is relatively new to our lots, as in maybe the past week or so, we don't have that many trims, but we did have an SEL V6. So I went ahead and grabbed that one. Now let's start by talking about what is new for 2021. There aren't a ton of things. This model is only 3 years old. So the 3-year cycle is usually when you get a refresh, and that is exactly what it is. It's not a redesign, it's just a refresh. But there are some new things that are important to mention. I think maybe next year or the following model year, we'll get like a full redesign, a full refresh. But here, just a little splash of new here and there. So instead of kind of covering everything that's new all at once, I'm going to point it out as we go. But one thing that is worth mentioning is the new Volkswagen CarNet app. And I made an entire video about this. Check the card above. That'll give you a full breakdown of it. But basically, it is now free for the first, I think, 3 years. You get remote start for free. You get a virtual key fob for free. You can locate your car on a map for free. All kinds of good stuff, and it's available here on the 2021. So that is huge. Check the video above and you can get a full breakdown of that. Other things that are new, you now have all-wheel drive available with the 2.0 liter turbocharged engine, not just with the V6 engine. Now let's talk about those two engine options. Like I mentioned, a 2.0 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with 4Motion all-wheel drive is available, and it has 235 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque. The engine we find here on the SEL is the 3.6 liter V6, which will get you 276 horsepower, 266 pound-feet of torque, 22 miles per gallon highway, 16-ish miles per gallon city. It does have 5,000 pounds of towing capacity and a trailer hitch on the back, so you can do a little bit of towing with this. But the fact that the 4-cylinder does have all-wheel drive as an option is new here on 2021. Now, like I mentioned, it's not a redesign, it's simply a refresh here in 2021. But a place where you'll really notice that is up here on the headlights and back on the taillights. They redesigned the front grille, including resculpting the headlights. So I'll show you some pictures on screen or some video on screen of what the 2020 used to look like, or the 2019, they were the same. But here in 2021, definitely resculpted and reshaped and kind of reconfigured, if you will. So LED headlights, LED daytime running lights, they have an adaptive front lighting system, meaning they'll, turn with the vehicle and be able to take advantage of some of those more advanced lighting features. And they have integrated fog lights, which is kind of a new look instead of them being kind of down here. You'll also have LED tail lights in the back, and then the front grille here looks a little bit different. Now, if you're familiar with the older Atlases, they had kind of a 2-bar look to them. This now has a 3-bar. This has polished chrome here with kind of these, this grille, this kind of blocky, almost protruding rectangular grille here. Now, this is really interesting here. I don't exactly recall what the 2019 Atlas's front-facing camera looked like, but this one sticks out really far. And I don't know why that is. It kind of looks like a turtle head poking out there, which is odd. Big, beautiful Volkswagen badge. They kind of not redesigned, but reworked the Volkswagen badge. It looks a little different than it used to. You'll notice that on the inside as well once we get there. Big middle body colored piece here, and then an additional grille. Interestingly, they went with a chrome look here and a satin look here. You guys be the judge. I'm not going to voice my opinion on it. It seems a little mismatched to me, but let me know in the comments down below what you think of this right next to each other, especially when it's supposed to like mirror and it, I don't know. But brushed satin down here, and then you have your parking sensors kind of around the front there. Now, this does have the 360-degree overhead view cam, so front-facing camera, 2 on your side mirrors, and then 1 in the back that gives you that 360 view. Now, since they updated the front and the back of the car, you get a little more length, so it's about 3 inches longer than the original Atlas, which doesn't seem all that significant, but I just wanted to point that out as being new. Now, the Atlas we're looking at here sits on 20-inch wheels. They're a 2-tone alloy wheel, black with a machined finish look. Really beautiful, nice updated Volkswagen badge right in the center, and they sit on all-season tires. Additionally, in 2021 for the R-Line trim, not only does it come with a body kit, additional R-Line badging, but you also have the options of 20 or 21-inch wheels on the R-Line specifically. Now, this isn't an R-Line, this is just an SEL in deep black pearl, but I just did want to mention that. Up top, you've got rain-sensing intermittent windshield wipers with the heated nozzles as well, so you won't have to worry about those freezing over in the winter. Up top, you've got a panoramic tilting and sliding sunroof. Now, you've got body-colored heated side mirrors with blind spot monitoring and integrated turn signals. They're also power folding, so when you lock the car, they're going to fold in, unlock the car, they're going to fold out. And they have the cameras underneath, which will give you a side view of your door panels and will additionally work with that overhead view camera. Over on the door handles, you've got body colored door handles with keyless access with the little button you can push to lock and unlock the car. You also have those silver kind of brushed satin roof rails. Like I mentioned up front, LED tail lights that have been re-sculpted here in 2021. So here's what they used to look like in 2019/2020. And then here they are in 2021. So a nice redesign. Again, that added length on the front and back gives you an extra 3 inches of overall length of the body. Nice chrome strip that runs across here, Atlas badging, new Volkswagen badging, SEL V6 badging, 4Motion all-wheel drive badging, more parking sensors dotted around there. You do have a rear wiper, rear vision camera, works with that overhead view cam. You've got dual chrome exhaust tips, may be functional, may not be, trailer hitch, 5,000 pounds of towing capacity. Now, the rear liftgate can be opened in a few ways. There's a button here that you can push, and it's power up, power down. So you got a button up top here, you can hit that, it's gonna come right down. And you can also use the button on the key fob up and down, which is awesome. Speaking of the key fob, you also have remote start on the key fob. So if you lock the car, push the button twice, starts right out for you, nice and easy. You can also press it twice to shut it down. So really nice feature to have with remote start. Now, here's where I go on a little bit of a tangent, but the trunk space is not great. You do have an average amount of trunk space with the rear seats folded up. So I can fit this big box and this little box in that space when the rear seats are up. Now, if I go ahead and just throw the rear seats down, you get plenty of trunk space. Put on screen here the measurements. And then if you want to fold the 2 captain's chairs up also, you'll get some extra space. But I've just never really been a big fan of these kind of more compact SUVs with 3 rows, because if you need 3 rows, you probably have a lot of kids, or maybe a dog that needs a back row, I don't know, something like that. But you're gonna need trunk space with that, and you just don't get it. And I don't know, I guess to each their own, but I never really have understood it. So again, these are not power folding rear seats or anything like that. They have little latches that you can push the seats down with and whatnot. But that's pretty much everything here on the exterior. Let's go ahead and hop inside. All right, guys, now that we're inside the cabin, the first thing you're gonna notice, I think, if you're familiar with the Atlas or older Volkswagens at all, is the redesigned and retooled steering wheel. So it's beautiful, very modern, very sleek. It has that updated Volkswagen logo that's kind of like a flat one-color logo, like I mentioned outside. But this nice gray color, nice texture here on the horn area with that new badge. Updated button layout, updated satin piece that runs kind of around the buttons and down in this little U shape with a black accent. You've got your adaptive cruise control buttons over here, volume buttons here. Over on the right side, you've got your voice assistant button. You can control the digital dash as well as some of the stuff on the 8-inch infotainment center. You've got your skip button and then your heated steering wheel button right there with some nice accent stitching around the steering wheel. It's beautiful, very modern. I'm a huge fan of the redesigned steering wheel, and I think it's what we're gonna see going forward. We've already seen it on the Cross Sport, which came out before this, which was a 2020 model, and this is a 2020 model. I don't know. It's a little bit weird, but I've got videos coming out on the Cross Sport very soon. Right behind that, you've got your light options as well as your rain sensing windshield wipers. You can turn those on or off at will, as well as your back wiper. Past that, you've got the version 2.0 digital dash. Now, if you've seen any of my other videos, you know that in 2018, 2019, when the digital dash was first revealed, there was the 12.9-inch kind of 1.0 version that had no physical gauges at all. It's completely screen. Now, in 2019 to 2020, in the model year crossover, they did a running model year change where they switched it to a little bit of a redesign, and they added physical gauges on either side, one for your oil temperature and one for your gas. So that is what we've got going on here. A lot of nice customization options, not as many as I'd like, but you do have the option to just have standard gauges. You have the option to just see like your assist systems, or you can switch through it. You can do navigation, audio, telephone, vehicle status, driving data, all that kind of good stuff, kind of in a more full screen look, but you still have what gear you're in, how many miles on your trip calculator, how many miles on your car total, and what your speed is. Or you can switch again and get a little bit more information, but still just see your adaptive cruise control or other assist systems right there on the screen. The digital dash is awesome. It gives you a compass, gives you temperature, gives you everything you'd ever want to know about your vehicle straight in front of your eyes right there. I love it. Additionally, on the higher trim level Volkswagens that have built-in navigation, you can pull up that navigation, hit the little map switch button, and boom, it'll blast the map right over here to the digital dash. And then what you have the option of doing now is doing full screen navigation. So if we go ahead and swap the map over and we push view once, twice, boom, it disappears and you've got full screen in-vehicle navigation. The downside is you have to use Volkswagen's built-in navigation system. And as you may know about me, I am not a fan of built-in navigation systems. They're slow, clunky, look pretty bad most of the time, have to update them, have to use an SD card, all that kind of stuff, not good. If you could switch over and use Apple Maps, Waze, Google Maps, something like that, a third-party solution, I would be over the moon about this. But the fact that you have to use built-in navigation is not great, but it's better than nothing. And being able to use it on the digital dash, I think, is a main selling point of getting a higher trim Volkswagen. Now, as far as other buttons and knobs go on this side of the car, you do have your light controls here. And if you go ahead and turn your lights all the way on, just to straight on, not auto, but just on, it changes your digital dash navigation to dark mode, which is kind of cool. But I usually leave that on auto just so the car can decide. Over here, you've got your Fender Premium audio system, kind of speaker, lock and unlock buttons, nothing fancy, satin door handles. You've got your mirror controls here, window roll down, lock, trunk button, all your standard stuff, nothing crazy at all. Up top here, you've got an auto dimming rearview mirror, no compass, no universal garage door home light controls, just not an option here. Sunroof controls up here, shade controls up here, dome lights, and you can turn this off so your dome lights won't be on when the doors open. Moving on down, you got a little tray here you can put stuff in. Then you've got your 8-inch infotainment center. Now, one of the new things kind of for 2021 is that more trim levels have the 8-inch infotainment center here. So it's a super nice, clean infotainment center. It's Volkswagen's 3.0 version. It's got flat icons with little colored pops underneath them. And it's just really clean and easy to use. Not only does it work great on its own, but it also works really well with that updated CarNet app, and you have 4G LTE Wi-Fi compatibility in the 2021s here. Now I'll just kind of run through what you have here on the infotainment center quickly. Radio will give you Sirius XM, AM, and FM radio. Media will give you Bluetooth music. You can also connect to USB music or use CD in the CD slot inside the glove box. Navigation we already kind of covered. Points of interest, turn-by-turn directions, putting it on the digital dash, that kind of good stuff. Sirius XM Travel Link will give you fuel prices, which are very low right now for not great reasons. Local weather as well. You can look at scores of your favorite sports teams. Rest in peace to sports. And you can do movie prices. Rest in peace to movies. But you can also do telephone, which will give you Bluetooth connectivity, vehicle, which will give you kind of the information that's on the digital dash, but over on the infotainment center. So miles on your trip, average miles per gallon, how many gallons left on your tank. You can also change settings like your lighting controls and your driver personalization, and you can activate some assistance systems and things like that from that menu. App Connect will give you Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Traffic will give you traffic. Sound will let you EQ the Fender Premium audio system. Images will let you use an SD card to add images on the screen, play them back if you want to. Climate control kind of gives you a software overview of the climate, kind of what's on, what's off, and you can sync stuff. And if you turn stuff on with the physical gauges, you have control over it and a visual representation of it on the screen. Additionally, something that's new here, I saw it first on the Cross Sport, but I haven't put those videos out yet, so this is the really first or second time I'm seeing it. It's this new Air Care tab. So if you open that up, you can activate the Climatronic Air Care system. And basically what it means is it optimizes the use of the interior air filter. So when it's activated, fine dust particles and pollen particles are filtered out of the vehicle's internal air, which if you live in a high pollen area like we do here in the Ohio Valley, right now I think the pollen count is like high or extreme or so. I don't even know the terminology, but they said sky high pollen in the weather text that I got this morning. So not great at all for my allergies. But if I have this cabin air filter that'll filter all of that pollen out, I should be in good shape. Just a standard rear vision camera here off the bat, but if you push menu, it'll actually give you your overhead view cam, and you can click on each of the different cameras and view them individually or view a couple more angles of that and use your parking assistance systems right there. So that is where you access that. Super nice. Not the highest resolution rear vision camera I've seen, but it's not all bad. Moving on down, you've got Climatronic 3-zone climate control. So you can control and sync driver and passenger, but you also can sync the second row and the third row vents as well, and control them via the climate control panel up front as well. But you have control in the back as well. So you can give that control or take it away depending on if there's older people or younger people in the back that you don't want messing with the climate. So all that's easy to control right there. Now, if you've seen any of my older videos, I've mentioned that I feel like Volkswagen is grooming us to use only software. They're kind of, I bet, in maybe a year, maybe 2, maybe 3 at the most, they're going to get rid of these hardware buttons altogether, and it will be strictly software. So I think they're kind of getting us ready for that by giving us more and more access here on the infotainment center. So you do have your heated and ventilated seat controls on here as well. Moving on down, you can turn your auto start stop engine off if you don't like that. Turn your flashers on. Down past that, you've got 2 USB-A ports, a aux cord input, a 12-volt outlet, and then you have a Qi-enabled wireless charging pad, which is relatively new on Volkswagens. Past that, you've got your 8-speed automatic transmission with Tiptronic and Sport mode, push to start engine button, electronic parking brake, drive mode selector for snow, normal, off-road, and off-road custom. Cup holders here with little LED lights in there. You can turn on your 360-degree camera right from this button here, and then turn on your parking assist as well. Inside the center console, big, nice open center console, you've got one singular USB-A port for charging. As far as seating options go, you've got 2-tone leather seats here. They're calling Shetland and Quartzite leather. So it's kind of this ivory color with these gray accents to it, with the new stitching also that I mentioned, which is kind of a white or gray stitching. Both the driver and passenger are heated and ventilated. The driver is a 10-way power adjustable with lumbar support and position memory, while the passenger is an 8-way power adjustable seat, but again, heated and ventilated. Also, the captain's chairs in the back, they're manually adjustable, but they are heated, and you have the rear climate controls, like I mentioned, and charging ports back there. Also, in the third row, you have vents as well. I don't know if you have charging ports back there. I'll put on screen if you do. But additionally, you have shades in the second row windows that are manually adjustable. Now, as far as the design of the cabin goes, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. I'm kind of going to voice more of an opinion here, but I'm not a huge fan of the 4 different textures and colors that we got going on inside this cabin. Not only do you have a black soft touch rubber up top, you've got a satin kind of brushed look as accents, you've got a faux wood paneling, and then you've got this ivory soft touch plastic underneath. it just seems busy to me. And Volkswagen has very premium cabins. I've always said that. I'm a huge fan of them in general, but I just don't think we need that many different textures. I could always do without faux wood paneling. I do not like it at all. I'd rather just have this brushed satin look running down the whole center, or maybe just a textured gray look like we've got on the steering wheel. I don't mind the two-tone soft touch plastics, that's okay, but just not so many different things all at once. I could really do without, but let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. So whenever I make these big reviews on 3-row SUVs and things like that, everyone always asks me, well, talk about what it's like to sit in these cars. We want to know about the spacing. How's the third row? Compact SUVs never have a spacious third row. Never. If you can find me one, drop it in the comments and I'll take a look. But at every single one I've ever been in, every single brand I've ever been in, it is not pleasant for anyone over 5'6" to sit in the back row. I'm 6'1", it is not pleasant. Now, saying that, the second row, especially with captain's chairs, is awesome. Look at the amount of space I have here. Again, I'm 6'1". I have plenty of space for my knees, plenty of shoulder space. I've got some nice armrests here so I can chill. No armrest on the left side, but just a nice armrest here. I mean, I feel like I'm kind of in a spaceship. Like, it's so open, especially with that panoramic sunroof. It just makes it feel even bigger than it is. Tons of room, and I could even probably, well, I can scoot the seat way forward, but it was all the way back. So maybe that's why it's so spacious, because it was all the way back. But the rear seat passengers might not like that if you've got it all the way back. So maybe you need to scoot it up a little bit. But you can also grab this handle, lean the whole thing back. The lumbar support kind of pops out when you lean it back, which is super comfortable. The whole seat kind of moves as one. I really like that. A lot of nice space. Again, 2 USB-A ports back here, a 115 volt outlet as well. Rear climate controls, heated seats here in the captain's chairs. If you get lucky enough to get in the captain's chairs of this thing, it's a dream. Let's hop into the third row. All right, I'm doing this. I'm doing it. Okay, gotta get this headrest up. Looks like a droid from Star Wars. All right, I'm back here. All 6'1" of me and my legs here. Let me start by saying this. If I were to scoot this seat up a little bit, my knees could go down, but at this current moment with the second row captain's chairs slid all the way back, giving you the most legroom in the front, my knees, I can't put my feet down on the ground. My knees are up against the seat here. You do have kind of a little tray. You got 3 tiny cup holders back here. Kind of looks like a snowman. So you could fit some drinks back here for sure. I don't see any charging ports. So it looks like a big no on the whole charging port thing, but nice rear vent right here, one for each side so you won't get too hot or too cold back here in the back, which is a problem with these bigger SUVs. Now, as far as getting out, they do make it pretty simple. They put a little handle here, but instead of having to climb over, you just grab the little handle here, boom, slide it forward. I'm not gonna hit the camera again, but you can just get right out like that. So super simple to get out with that new system. But yeah, it's definitely takes away from that big spacious feel when you're back here because it just feels super cramped and I don't know. If I was small, like if I was a little kid, if I was 5'5", 5'6", maybe a little smaller than that, I don't think I'd really have a problem, especially if the rear seat slid up just, or the second row slid up just a tiny bit. I think it'd be more than fine. But as an adult, and if I was any larger than I am now, it just would not be comfortable. So there's my review. All right, guys, and that is everything here on the newly refreshed 2021 Volkswagen Atlas. Drop a like on the video if you loved it. Tell me in the comments down below, what's your favorite refresh? Do you like the redesigned steering wheel? Maybe the updated headlights, updated taillights? Let's have a conversation about it down in the comments. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button to be among the first to see my full review of every single new 2021 Volkswagen as soon as it hits our lots. We'll see you in the next one.